It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, admissions, documents, which prove exactly what she did and how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie and used her PR people to try and destroy Justin.
I've seen Hollywood feuds before, but this one, it's about to change everything. Justin Baldoni just did something no one saw coming. He released never-before-seen handwritten intimacy coordinator notes, personal text messages, and behind-the-scenes footage that could completely shatter Blake Lively's legal claims. And let me tell you, the details are messy. Blake is suing Baldoni over their work on It Ends With Us, accusing him of inappropriate behavior, fat-shaming, and financial mismanagement. But here's where it gets wild. Those notes that Baldoni just leaked, they might actually prove that Blake knew exactly what was happening on set the entire time. So why is she suing now? And why did she skip a crucial meeting with an intimacy coordinator before filming those intimate scenes, only to later claim that those same scenes made her uncomfortable? Something about this lawsuit doesn't add up, and I'm breaking down every detail. Because this isn't just a legal battle, it's a fight for reputations, millions of dollars, and Hollywood dominance. And trust me when I tell you that Baldoni isn't done dropping bombshells. So let's start with these handwritten notes, because trust me, this is where everything starts unraveling. Justin Baldoni didn't just leak a few scribbled words. No, these notes are packed with intimate details, behind-the-scenes directives, and exact instructions about how their It Ends With Us scenes were supposed to be performed.
It's believing that people and humanity are inherently good. And they crave nutritious food in their soul, just as they do in their body.
And the biggest shock? These are the same notes now being used as the foundation of Blake Lively's lawsuit. But let's rewind a little, because what really happened here is turning into one of the biggest behind-the-scenes disputes in recent Hollywood history. According to Baldoni, the production team had scheduled a meeting between Blake and the film's intimacy coordinator, a standard procedure in modern Hollywood to make sure actors feel completely safe and comfortable when filming steamy or physically demanding scenes. But instead of attending that meeting, Blake skipped it entirely. Her alleged response? A simple message to Baldoni saying, "I feel good, I can meet her when we start. Thank you though." Now, that might seem like an innocent response, right? But when you're dealing with a high-profile movie where every little detail is planned out weeks in advance, skipping a mandatory meeting like this is highly unusual. And this is where things start to get strange, because while she refused to meet with the coordinator in the usual way, like every other professional actor would, she allegedly had a different request. Instead of following industry protocol, she supposedly told Baldoni to come to her New York penthouse home to personally go over the notes in private. Now, let's pause here. Why would she skip a professional structured meeting where trained specialists ensure everything is handled properly, only to turn around and request a one-on-one session with her male co-star in the privacy of her own home? That doesn't just raise eyebrows, it completely changes the conversation.
And being frank, if it were not for women giving me direct feedback in my own personal life and being a man who was willing to at least listen to them, there's no chance that I would be having this conversation. So the message, to answer your question, the message is very simple. As men, we need to embrace all of the parts of us that make us human. That's it.
It is.
It's very simple.
And here's where it gets even messier. Baldoni says these weren't just generic notes about body positioning or scene blocking. No, they allegedly contained highly detailed, explicit descriptions of their love scenes, including references to foreplay and specific physical interactions. Now ask yourself this. If Blake was fine reviewing these notes with Baldoni, alone in her own home, why is she now claiming these same notes are proof of inappropriate behavior? Why did she choose this method in the first place? And most importantly, if she was uncomfortable, why invite him into a private setting to discuss these exact details? This isn't just a small contradiction, it's a massive red flag. Because let's be real, if Baldoni had insisted on discussing these notes with her outside of a formal setting, this entire situation would be flipped upside down. The headlines would scream, "Baldoni overstepped boundaries, ignored protocol." But here's the twist. It was Blake who allegedly made that call. And now, those same notes, which she was perfectly fine reviewing privately, have suddenly become a legal weapon in her lawsuit. Something doesn't add up here, and Baldoni knows it. That's why he's not backing down. Instead, he's doubling down, leaking more behind-the-scenes footage, releasing text messages, and pushing back against these claims harder than ever. Because if Blake's story is as solid as her lawsuit suggests, then why do these notes tell a completely different version of events? And more importantly, what else is Baldoni hiding that could blow this whole thing wide open? One thing is for sure, this fight is far from over. But this lawsuit isn't just about those scenes. Blake also made a huge claim. She says Baldoni fat-shamed her after she gave birth to her 4th child. Now, if that's true, it's a serious accusation.
Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, it is heating up. It is not ending. Baldoni now reportedly set to take legal action against Lively.
Hollywood has a long, ugly history of enforcing brutal body standards, especially on women. Actresses have spoken out for years about how they're pressured to bounce back immediately after childbirth. Directors, producers, and executives have been called out for demeaning or insensitive remarks about post-pregnancy bodies. So, if Baldoni really did fat-shame Blake, this wouldn't just be a legal issue, it would be a career-ending scandal. But here's where things take a turn. Baldoni has receipts, and when you see what he actually said to her, the story doesn't match up with what she's claiming. To fight back against those claims, Baldoni leaked a text message he sent to Blake, and let me tell you, it paints a very different picture. Here's what he told her. "You will look amazing. Anything you're insecure about, we will talk through and get creative together to make you comfortable. I just don't want you to stress about your body." Now, stop for a second and really read that message. Does that sound like someone who's shaming her? Because to me, it sounds like the exact opposite. That's not a director telling his lead actress that she needs to lose weight. That's not someone making demeaning comments about her appearance. If anything, it sounds like Baldoni is going out of his way to reassure her, to let her know that they'll work together, that her feelings are a priority, and that she shouldn't stress about how she looks. So, if that's the case, it raises a big question. Why would Blake accuse him of fat-shaming if this text exists?
Brunette because of the books.
And everyone knows blondes are nicer anyway.
If she had this exact message sitting in her phone, why would she claim Baldoni made her feel ashamed of her body? Could it be a misunderstanding? Could something have been said off camera that made her feel differently? Or is there something much bigger happening behind the scenes? Because let's be honest, if Baldoni had actually fat-shamed her, wouldn't there be a different text message? Wouldn't there be a more damaging piece of evidence? Right now, the only proof we have shows him being supportive. So what's really going on here? And more importantly, if Baldoni has more messages, could they completely flip this case upside down? One thing's for sure, this fight is far from over. And if you thought things couldn't get worse, now we're talking money. Because according to Baldoni, Blake was reckless with the film's budget. He says that It Ends With Us went $500,000 over budget because Blake didn't care about financial limits. Now, let's put that into perspective.
I mean, I internalized that as opportunity. Like we had such a responsibility to this audience to deliver something and to have the opportunity to deliver something for a passionate group of people.
$500,000 isn't just loose change in Hollywood. That's an entire additional salary for multiple crew members, additional shooting days, or even an entire marketing campaign for a smaller film. But where did all that extra money go? Well, according to Baldoni, Blake was the reason for the financial chaos. She allegedly made demands that inflated costs, pushed for changes that disrupted production, and ignored budget concerns raised by the studio. Meanwhile, what was Blake doing? She was traveling the world on an extravagant press tour, turning every red carpet into a personal runway show, wearing custom designer outfits, walking into events as the main attraction, and making sure all eyes were on her. Now, don't get me wrong, press tours are normal. Every major actor promotes their films. But here's the real issue. If the film was already bleeding money, why was Blake continuing to spend excessively? Was it justified promotional expenses, or was she using the film as a personal branding opportunity to boost her own image at the studio's expense? And let's not forget, Blake has notoriously tight control over her public image. Every red carpet look, every public appearance, every Instagram post, it's all calculated. So was this press tour about the movie, or was it about keeping herself in the spotlight? But here's what's weird. She hasn't said a word about Baldoni's budget claims. No denial, no explanation, nothing. And when someone stays silent about an accusation that big, it raises a lot of eyebrows. Because if Baldoni was lying, wouldn't she immediately call him out? Wouldn't her team release a statement refuting the claims? Instead, radio silence. And in Hollywood, silence speaks volumes.
I was testing for a show that ended up actually getting picked up and doing very well. Okay. And I was one of 2 people, maybe. And then I get a call from my managers and my agent. They were both on the line, which means it's something serious. Right. Either you got the job or there's something wrong. Yeah. And they said, so you were the choice, but the network said that your eyebrows would be too distracting.
Oh,
What?
Oh no.
And then they went like, so what can we do about your eyebrows?
So, is this a strategic move? Or is she avoiding the topic because she knows Baldoni's accusations are true? One thing's for sure, this financial dispute is just another layer in this Hollywood battle. And if Baldoni has more receipts, this could get even uglier. Now here's where things get really messy. Because this scandal isn't just a courtroom battle anymore, it's a fight for Hollywood power. And right now, it looks like Blake isn't losing any ground. Despite all the drama, her upcoming sequel to A Simple Favor with Anna Kendrick is not getting cancelled. In fact, it's premiering at the South by Southwest Film Festival next month. So while she's in the middle of a lawsuit, her career is still thriving. Meanwhile, Baldoni, he's taking a different approach. While he and his family are vacationing in Hawaii, he's reportedly hosting 2 families who lost their homes in the wildfires at his $2.8 million California estate. And his lawyer? He's making it very clear. Justin isn't done dropping bombshells, because if this is what he's willing to release right now, what else does he have? More texts, more footage. And here's the real question. If Blake isn't telling the full story, how long can she keep up this legal fight before it backfires? So, what do you think? Is Justin Baldoni proving his innocence, or is this just another Hollywood PR battle where the truth is buried under legal tactics and personal grudges? Because one thing's for sure, this fight is far from over. And if Baldoni's team is telling the truth about having even more evidence, then Blake might not be the one controlling the narrative for much longer. So let's hear it. Who do you believe? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Because trust me, there's more coming.